Hey y'all, it's your girl Cornieta and welcome to Leadership for Beginners podcast, a place to develop new and aspiring leaders so that they can lead with clarity and also build winning teams. So if you press play, I know for a fact that you're just as excited about this as I am. So I want you guys to just go ahead and grab your pens, grab your notepads. Anytime that we're talking, you just never know when a nugget is just gonna pop out of my mouth. So you wanna make sure you just grabbing that, all right? And if you're just listening, hey, grab your phone and put it in your notepad, and because you know how we're in 2024 and that's how we do. So listen, I am excited about this because we're coming in hot. We're coming in with the introductions, we're coming in with the life lessons, and we're coming in with the leadership tips, you guys. This podcast is going to be amazing. It's going to be a journey for my new leaders who are jumping into the ring, okay? Who is just answering the call, okay? Doing something better with their life, okay? This is for you. So let's go ahead and just jump into this real quick because I know it's going to be good. I started this podcast because I felt like there was a gap that I could add value. Now, I attempted this a couple years ago when I thought that it was trending. And let's just say that, as you can see, I'm restarting it. Okay, which is okay to restart something. If it didn't work, reevaluate it, start it again, do something different, find out where you went wrong, and then just kind of relaunch it again. Okay, so this is what we're doing. Okay. So we're here today because I know for a fact where I can add value. And so I know that I am like this no nonsense kind of very practical, like how does this really make sense type of girl. So I really had to think to myself, how does this make sense? And so I want this journey to be a conversation. I want this journey to be an opportunity for us to get to know each other. And so up front, I want to be honest in everything that I talk about with all the conversations that we're going to have about being a leader. And what I've realized over the last couple of years of just getting older, I'm in my 30s, like young 30s, but early 30s. But just getting older, I realized that if I am in a place where I am not adding value, it's not worth your time, it's not worth my time. And because time is so precious that if we are adding value to people who don't want it, it's draining. And it's purposeless because it means that you're just talking and no one's listening and we're not moving anywhere. So I am definitely into adding value. And so I've actually taken this very same process and I've used it in my own life. So, funny story, like whenever I meet people and whenever I meet friends, there was a time where you would like, oh my God, she texts me, he texts me, I think we're friends. I don't know. It's been a couple weeks. It's been a couple months. At 34 years old, I'm like, forget that, okay? Are we friends? We're just gonna move that to a dinner date and we're just gonna sit down and I'm just gonna ask you all the questions. I'm gone are the days where I'm guessing if we're friends or not because you text me 1 or 2 times. I'm gonna sit you down over dinner and I'm gonna be like, are you crazy? Are you financially stable? What do you need in life that I can help with? And how can we just be an asset to each other? Like, I know it sounds crazy, but we gotta be real with each other. Like, we have to be honest up front. And that's really the same things that we can even use in our leadership. The reality is that as individuals who are in leadership, we can't just assume that people are with us. We can't just assume that because you're in a position that you have a team. You need a clear yes as to who is committed to you. And so when things start hitting the fan in my friendship, in my life, in my romantic life, because I know that it will, come on, 2 people trying to be in a friendship or a relationship, something is going to pop off. And so in advance, because we had that conversation and we sat down, for a fact that when I start acting crazy, you cannot guess, is she crazy? You're going to think to herself, she told me she was crazy, but I said yes to this, okay? I said yes to this. So I want you guys to use that very same tactic in your relationship, even as a new leader. Like, you have to sit down with your team, you have to get to know them, you have to know who they are, they have to get to know you. And that's a whole nother session that we're going to have a little bit later on when we talk about leader assimilation. It's so important that your team knows who you are, because you want that complete yes and that commitment so that you can know who is rolling with you, so that when things hit the fan in your leadership journey, you have a solid team. So how do we use the skills that we have learned, right, to land this job, and then at the same time be open to adapting new skills and letting go of some of the skills that we thought that were going to help us, but in this level in our journey and as a leader, it's not doing it, right? As a fine balance between, okay, you hired me for this job, so clearly I must have the skills, but at the same time, you do need me to think completely differently so that I could be able to do the job even better. It's all about balance. I remember as a new leader when I was starting out, that's one of the things that I struggled with. I struggled with how do I be an exceptional leader? And not lose myself, right? How do I be an exceptional leader and not lose myself? As I navigated through my role as a new leader, there were many different areas in my life that I was a new leader at the same time. I was a healthcare leader at the same time that I was a pastor, at the same time that I was a team development coach. I was doing too much, y'all, and still doing too much. But that's how my life goes, and that's how I like it. I like to be busy, and I find a way to basically put those in the right compartment so that I can do it well. Some days I'm succeeding and I'm patting myself on the back. And some days I'm struggling. And that's why I have a wonderful husband that lets me know when to fall back, when to get back up, and just when to just take my wins when I can get them. Okay. So there are so many tips that we can use that we use in our life in general. So in my life as a pastor, my life as a healthcare leader, I realized that as I was navigating through that, there was a gap. I kept coming up with the same gap. And that gap was, where was the support for the new leaders? Where was the resources, the groups, the podcasts, all the information that new leaders would need to get up faster, to get up to speed faster? Because we know that as a new leader, as you're jumping into a new position, as you're jumping into a new department, there are just some things that you're just going to have to know quickly to get up to speed. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind, or your team is not going to trust you, or your boss is going to be like, you're just not the right fit and definitely fire you, or you're going to quit because you feel like you're not making any progress, right? And so I found that the same gap kept showing up. Where was the support? I noticed that there's a lot of leadership information out there for the executive leaders, the top CEOs, for the executive and the directors, right? But the new leaders, the one that's like spanking you, that like me, that just came in and probably either decided to go in leadership, or the department shift and you ended up with more responsibilities than you thought, and now you're leading the team and you don't know what to do. Hello. Okay. There are so many different paths towards leadership. And so that transition requires a emotional, psychological, spiritual, and even physical assistance during that process to make sure that you succeed. And that's what I'm here for, you guys. That's what I'm here for. Okay. So in some ways, I felt like the journey of becoming a leader was by complete accident. And hear me out when I say an accident. It wasn't something that I was looking for. It wasn't something that I was craving and going after. But I felt like my life experiences, which you will learn a lot about me on this podcast, okay, because we about to get real. Okay, we're about to get real. I feel like my life and the experiences that I've had in my life have led me to this place. And it was a scary journey to kind of be in this place, but I'm the type of person that if I'm thrown into the wolves, I'm going to find a way how to beat every single one of them and get out of there without a scratch. And so I felt like I jumped into this position, even though I was scared, with the intention that I was going to immerse myself in learning everything about being a leader. and everything that I could so that I could be a better leader, but also that so that I can impact someone else's life. And that has always been my ultimate dream, right? I ran track at UConn, and this is just an off story. I ran track at UConn, and I was so glad for the opportunity because I definitely was not the fastest, but I had grit, I had a dream, I had a vision, and I was a person that could tell you about my vision and you would be like, oh, girl, I want to follow you. Okay. Because I knew what I wanted. And I remember just being in that position, and I felt like I wanted to be an Olympian. The only reason why I wanted to be an Olympian was not because like I wanted to practice all day, because it was painful to be at practice. Okay. There were days I did not want to go. There were days I did not want to get up, and there were days that I did not want to eat right. But I wanted it because of the influence. I felt like if I had that platform, I would have the ability to influence people, not to make them do what I want to do or manipulate them, but to help them get to their journey, to tell their story, to get to the place where they could get in their life that would impact not just their lives, but the lives of others. And it's so funny because I feel like I'm still doing that even now, just on a different level. And I'm excited about that. And I hope that that is the same thing for you, that you get excited for yourself and the impact that you're going to have. So the reality is, let me get back to my story. The reality is I didn't feel like this was something that I was craving. So I felt like that I was that little girl that was still in Jamaica, in that poverty-stricken country of Jamaica, who walked barefoot to school, who felt unseen, who didn't feel qualified, who felt like nobody would follow them. Like, have you ever felt that way? Like, if I apply for this position and they hire me, like, are people really going to hear what I have to say? Will they follow me? Will they listen to me? Will they respond back to my email? Will they text me? Will they answer my call? Will they stop by my office? Like, it's a serious conversation, even though it's quite funny. It's a serious conversation, right? And I just felt like I just wasn't ready or knew anything about leadership for me to be like, this is what I want to do. I didn't see it on TV. I didn't see anyone around me who exemplified that position. Like, what I saw around me, you guys, were hardworking farmers who were trying to tilt the ground so that they can get some kind of produce to help their family and to feed their family so that they could sell it at the market so that they could feed their family. Okay, I saw kids running up and down the streets because that was their moment of thinking, like, if I run fast enough that I can be an Olympian one day. Or I saw my mother who was an underpaid teacher, who took care of my grandmother who was diabetic, who worked and went to school, took care of her kids as a single mom. That's what I saw in front of me. I didn't see leadership and taking over the world and being impactful until I came to the United States and saw much more that was exposed to me, right? So I'm here because I feel like it's just destiny has pulled me here. And I can't say that this journey has been all peaches and cream, but I can say that it has taught me so much about myself. And I hope that as you are jumping into this journey of being a leader, that you can say the same, that it has taught you something about yourself and that you do not regret the opportunity that you were given, whether you chose it or it chose you. Okay, so how I got here is because of the continual exposure that I saw around me after I came to the United States. And so all my life, I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to pioneer through something. I wanted to change something. I wanted to, have an impact on someone. I wanted to be an example to someone else. That was, I want to say all my life. Let's take that back. Not all my life, but that was my perception after I got to the place where I was like, you know what? I can still make an impact on this level, even though I thought that it was going to be on being an Olympian that would have made me impactful or influential. And I hope that that is the same. I hope that you're echoing that very same thing. And if you are, then you're in the right place.